We always say that SANRAL is more than just building roads. Last week we had a conversation with Siveshni Pillay about smart mobility. Well, this week we explore what that means in terms of the future. What are the projects that lie ahead? Siveshni Pillay, good to have you on the program once again. We had a fascinating chat last time talking to us about smart mobility, and you spoke about a number of projects that SANRAL had been working on, some flagship ones. And today I want us to explore what these mean and going forward. Good to have you back.
Thanks for having me back.
So one of the first things that you spoke about last time was the Freeway management system. And I just wonder what you do with something like this going forward.
So I think the nice thing about, the freeway management system is where we started. It's always, like I said, technology is evolving at a frightening pace. So you can't have something that's, 3 years down the line, Twitter's moved from Twitter to X, something to that effect. But you have to evolve with the times. So we're developing and looking at new technologies to bring. So we spoke about the CCTV cameras the last time. But recently you see that because smart technology is moving into the AI world and the machine learning concepts. We're looking at implementing interesting little features to what we currently have to improve our line of sight or our congestion management or our value to the road users. So you see, we're looking at something like an automated incident detection process. So automated incident detection is where, as I mentioned the last time, you've got an operator and we rely on the poor operator. If he misses something, he misses something, and that's not good for the road user. So we have an additional component where there's an automated incident detection process where he can see if something's happening or the system identifies, okay, you haven't looked at this camera, something's happening. So that's a nice feature. I think, we know that South Africa or Africa has interesting challenges, where we'd go overseas and you'd see that they don't have security or vandalism issues. We have a huge issue locally, and we know it with security issues. So some of the nice things we're looking at is a thermal camera, for instance. So thermal cameras at night especially, to see if there's any disturbances. Or I think recently we all know how bad the truck incidents and truck attacks have been. So trying to find a way to help that, the road user itself, but trying to find an alternative means to manage our security and vandalism issues. And with accidents itself, once it's an accident, we all know what happens. You get a massive backup. But if you're unaware of the backup, you don't know that something's happening ahead. So there's another interesting concept, which is variable speed limits. And these are little variable signs above your head saying, slow down, or it's, the speed's dropped. Please understand something's wrong.
So I'm interested about the mobility app that you spoke about, because one of the things I would love to have is I'm on the freeway. And yes, I see those big signs that says, 15 minutes to Galuli's or whatever. Why can't I see that on my app, for example? So that even before I start my journey, I can go on my mobility app and you tell me the highway is going to take you this long to get to Soweto.
Yeah, so firstly, we don't encourage you to use your mobile phone while you're driving. But what we do have is, so that's the major link that we need to do, is to marry our ITS project with obviously our mobility app, which is coming soon. And I think that's one of the developments we're going to do quite fairly soon. But right now we have the itraffic.co.za website, and we encourage people, you can get onto the website and you can say, my journey is from so and so, and is there any anomalies? The really nice thing about our website at the moment is we provide still images of the freeway. So if you go on, you can see, okay, we said accident, but then you can have a quick look at the still image and realize, okay, there is an accident. It looks worse than it is, or it looks better than it is. Because I think sometimes we also perceive it to be worse than it really is. So let me take a chance and go. So that link will happen soon, and I think road users will have the benefit. So, talking to the fact that you shouldn't be using your mobile phone while you're driving, it comes to the concept of, we all have life is moving towards a connected autonomous world, and in that sense, it'll automatically pop up on your screen in your car, and I think that's the eventual aim. But right now, that portion of the work is definitely on the cards.
All right. So, what else is in the future for us? I mean, I think about the gantries that we go through. I mean, I'm in a rental at the moment, and I feel like I'm getting scanned every so often. I hear this ping, which is great technology. I mean, it tells you all sorts of things. Tell me about repurposing this, because we've built them, they're there, and they must be useful, I'm guessing, going forward.
I think, like all technology, everything's useful to what you want to do with it. And I think, you look at the infrastructure that we have for the toll-related projects, and it's much bigger than just the physical gantries people see. So the value of what we do is not sitting in the gantries, although the gantries do have place and purpose. It's actually the technology on the back end that is the valuable technology. So what we have on the back end is a transaction clearinghouse. And this transaction clearinghouse is essentially a massive mechanism or technology tool that we can run various projects of. So we spoke the last time about the account-based ticketing project. The account-based ticketing project, for instance, is where we would clear into a single mobility account. So we've shifted the focus now away from what is a traditional toll account to now a mobility account. And the mobility account in its concept means that we can do anything mobile related or mobility related on this app. So unfortunately, the road user doesn't like the term, but the average speed over distance is a very plausible concept. It really does have a positive effect on road safety. I think we've now investigated the concept now in the Western Cape, and they've done a brilliant job of implementing average speed over distance. They've got an extremely high compliancy rate, I think, of up to 96% of people obeying the rules in those areas. And if you think about what happens on our roads, and we don't like to say it, but speed does kill it. We've been hearing this from the time we were kids, but in actual fact, it's a major factor for accidents and incidents. So average speed over distance is one of those interesting concepts that you can use the gantries for. Interestingly enough, if you go onto your mobile app right now and you've registered, it does tell you if you've been speeding between the gantries, so you can see it. So nobody's charging you, or you're not, you're not exposed in that sense. But as an individual, you can see, okay, my kids that I pay for are speeding between gantries or exceeding the speed limit. So that'll be the nice part of the average speed over distance. The parking app, like we spoke about, the integrated ticketing is important for and the nice part about the integrated ticketing, account-based ticketing project, is it doesn't only affect the guy that is the road user. We always think the benefit on my mobility app comes from me who has a car and the luxury of a car. But with the account-based ticketing project, it's the average person on the street. Just about anybody can get the benefit and the value from our technology. So I think that's quite interesting. And it's hard not to mention the fact that time and place and data is important. And what this data gives us is not only data for what we can do, but I think in terms of the gantries and locations, it gives us that opportunity to look at security issues. So, you do have that ability where we can provide very valuable information to the police or to anyone when we start having visuals and we're having information, especially time and place information.
What else is on the horizon for you? I mean, the thing, I guess, also is some of the technology hasn't even been invented yet, but you already have to plan for it and see how you can apply it. What are you seeing in the future?
So the nice thing, I think, with SANRAL is now we've developed what we call a smart mobility strategy. I know everybody always says, government likes writing documents, but sometimes you have to document what you do. So with the smart mobility strategy, we have a huge component of research projects that are running. I think it's about 22 to 28 research projects at the back already investigating concepts that are very new to us. I mean, we have to move into the electrical vehicle sphere. How do we incorporate this into our existing infrastructure, like our rest and service facilities? How do we accommodate these vehicles on our roads? Because our traditional, filling stations don't accommodate it. But I think, we think about a lot of stuff, autonomous vehicles, for instance. What are we doing and how can we adapt to this growing trend internationally? Can we accommodate it in South Africa? How do we do it? There's a lot of factors that are interesting. I mean, you have to have good infrastructure for autonomous vehicles. You've got to have good, at the end of the day, the legal aspects need to be considered. But all of this now is sitting at a point where we are researching it. We are looking at what's the opportunities for South Africa as a whole and what can we do in the future as SANRAL.
And I would imagine that You must be having conversations with neighboring states because a lot of cars are leaving, but many are coming in from other parts of the continent, and they're going to come into our system.
Yeah, so I think it's always interesting that stakeholder and communications and relations are always the most difficult part of implementing any project. We always said that, you know, when it came to something like the toll project, it was very easy to put up gantries and to put a system in place and to manage it. But communication and stakeholder engagement is critical. So especially with our neighboring countries, our SADC countries at the moment, we are working hard to create relationships where we can do exactly that, where we can mutually, you know, be beneficial to each other and also maybe teach each other things that we need to know. But yeah, that is an ongoing initiative. I think we work hard at our inter-country and intergovernmental relations.
Okay, perhaps finally, what are you most excited about that lies ahead for you?
I think if you think about it from an engineering point of view, we spoke about being a civil engineer. I think the most exciting thing for me is between the smart mobility, smart technology and engineering, it's a huge opportunity for us to readapt our thinking, you know. I think the exciting part is it's not what we traditionally did. So we're writing a new story as we go along. We're inventing a new way of doing things. And for me, you know, you sit here and you think, yes, my job is not mundane, it's not boring, but it's a new sort of challenge, you know, and what can I bring to the party? How can I improve things every day?
Wow. Siveshni, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thanks so much indeed for your time, and we look forward to seeing this future unfold.
Thank you very much, Peter.
That was Siveshni Pillay, Project Manager at SANRAL, talking to us about smart mobility and what lies ahead in the future. And it looks pretty interesting.